Hello, YouTube. Back with more Path of Exile 2 content. This is going to be a follow-up to my preview video I did a little bit ago. This is now the actual reveal of the League content that is going to be coming to Path of Exile 2 this upcoming Friday. It's pretty hype. It's pretty hype. And if you're not familiar with Path of Exile 2 and how League mechanics work, they're pretty much just activities that are added to the end game portion of Path of Exile. And this one looks like a banger.
The palace of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
Hell yeah.
The temple has many functions, and with it, a chance to save the Val, a gateway through time. Travel into the past, again and again. Alter the temple, uncover its secrets. Be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do. It adores me. Come now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
Wow. So it's pretty much going to be build your own temple. And then eventually you get through it and, you face Atziri. Wow. Building your own temple. That's going to be so fun, at least the way it looks. And going on to this next video here, this is a preview of how all that stuff's going to work.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. In the Fate of the Val League, you will find remnants of the ancient Val civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures.
I have that hoodie he's wearing. So comfortable. So comfortable. Plus, I love this game, so I'm going to spend money on it.
And affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it.
The druid.
It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices.
Being added.
And sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one.
In the next
But
pack.
things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Val may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Val. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there?
Look at this. So it's going to be connecting, and then you're going to go into these rooms and do the content. Look at this. Guardhouse. And there's certain other things, too, that affect the other rooms, as he'll explain.
There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice. and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore. Place paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts. Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you and you will need to face the encounter within. But choose wisely. It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, just place it anywhere along an existing path. But a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command. With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monster harder, but also more rewarding. Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered up, making them much more dangerous. You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up, and exactly what effect it will have on the temple.
Okay.
After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple, but there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Laraval,
I wonder how many runs we'll have to do to complete the full, like a full run of a temple. Is it going to be like, 5, 10 runs? Especially because after you complete a run, some rooms disappear. Guess we'll find out.
he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Edzeri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Val. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Edzeri to prevent the Val from ever being destroyed. Edzeri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms, but while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Val technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing it next to a thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is...
This isn't a new skill, is it? Isn't this like siege something? I know what this is. This build looks really interesting, by the way, the one that they're actually showcasing in the in the actual gameplay here. I do love mercenary.
corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful items.
Look at that. Twice corrupted. Amazing. Amazing. Super gamba. Super, or super, you know, there's going to be a super gamble to it. But wow. People are going to make some nutty fucking items, dude. Very nutty. Especially with uniques, I'd say.
Indeed. But be warned. The Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power.
Like, we'll take this for example. So,
this has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed. But be warned.
So this has 40% less attack damage. Has 58% increased arrow speed, 100% increased attack speed, right? So, you corrupted it. And then the second corruption could take off this 40% less attack damage. So Quill Rain would be like stupid. Stupid good.
The Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed. Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
So it's like a mix of, at least from my experience with PoE 1, it's Incursion. There's Incursion League in PoE 1. I didn't play a ton of PoE 1, but I do remember that. And also maybe a little bit of heist, I mean, with the rooms, right?
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight. But if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalizi's Thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Sita Qualottl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an...
How did they come up with these names? What the heck? Sita Qualotl? The fuck?
offering expires. Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways. One of the mods of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod.
Look at that. So this cap right here, right now, in the current league is actually really good because of the surround mechanic and the surround nodes. So 3 fewer enemies to be surrounded, right? So getting into that item, there's a bunch of nodes on the passive tree right now that have a bunch of bonuses you get when you're surrounded. So this cap right now is actually like super meta. So I'm wondering how much better this can get. Okay, so I mean, this just gives you more life per second while surrounded. Big whoop, big whoop. But uniques are going to go so crazy this league. So crazy.
For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside.
Look at that.
Now, one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines.
You know, GGG puts out these things, and they know people are going to break the game. Like, it happens every time. Every time. They know, but, you know, for early access, that's fine. A lot of people have fun. And then kind of lock things down, you know, on full release, which is supposed to be in December next year, supposedly. That's what people, other like popular YouTubers and stuff are anticipating.
You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
W.
Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab.
Look at that thing. I mean, it does look like the Queen of Filth model with like extra components on it. But yeah, this box looks sick.
Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself?
Look at this. Curse magnitudes. Looks like these aren't like super good, to be fair. Because as he'll say in a minute, when you die, you lose the buff from these. So it's like I said, I don't think any of these are like crazy good.
After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now,
hopefully none of the legs give movement speed. You know, they want to slow this game down, and they need to cut out with the movement speed bullshit. Only the ADHD nerds care about movement speed in this game. Okay? Let this be the Unk game we all want. Okay? We don't need more PoE 1 movement speed crackheads. Okay? Okay, thank you.
there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state. You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time. Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple and...
I don't think I've ever had my, what was that, fragmentation rounds? I don't think I've ever had them hit that hard. That's pretty good.
other ways. Using a Queeper medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts. Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect.
Oh yeah.
And you will be in for a fight.
We'll see.
Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes.
So you kill the Architect, you get more access to more rooms with better rewards. I mean, okay, that's going to be the loop. Sounds good to me.
And currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the soccer balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it.
It's not bad.
Now,
Take that.
something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Vaal works well for late-game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match.
Good.
Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters.
We'll see.
We also start to introduce...
Thing PoE players are good at, it's just getting stupid high damage and finding just crazy interactions. So a lot of this harder content, he always, you know, what that GGG likes to talk about, it gets invalidated pretty quick.
Ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Vaal, you will get to face Adzeri while she was at the peak of her power.
Good.
One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Adzeri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards.
There'll probably be tiers, just like every other like major boss in the end game. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. I'm just wondering what the currency is going to be that you'll have to turn in to get up to those different tiers.
This is Adzeri's rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other. So,
Oh yeah.
that's the Fate of the Vaal League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game,
This is a big W
along
too.
with a few changes. Now,
It was a huge crafting league last league, and a lot of people loved it. And a lot of people have played and only recently quit playing, honestly, within the past like a few weeks. So, yeah, last league, last patch, huge W.
for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore. Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame.
Good.
If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run. You can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function.
And that's pretty much it for what I wanted to show for the league anyway. Let's get out of this and let's look at the druid, dude. Wow, here's gonna be the reveal right here. Aye. Wow.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
Think of the mist.
What's wrong with him?
He's lost his bloody mind. I will find you, Eve.
Look at that. December 12th. This upcoming Friday, boys. Let's get it. And then some gameplay, of course. Already got it lined up. Look at this.
Between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs...
I'm calling it now. Strength, intelligence. Super strong. It's going to give not only druids access to strength and intelligence, but also warriors. It's going to give druids armor and energy shield, which is going to be, I think it's going to be stupid strong, because you're going to have the armor mitigating a lot of the smaller hits of the enemies, and also now that they've added elemental damage reduction to armor, it's going to be so good. And then also you just have, you know, a bunch of energy shield too, like thousands, right? On top of that. So you're going to be stacked. I already know it.
Ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world. One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that druids use, animal talismans.
There it is.
When you equip an animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like.
There must be a higher tier one that has the wyvern, because this one just has bear and wolf.
The talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack. If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate.
Definitely the rage gain affecting, or just rage in general affecting the spell damage is going to be so good. And that's probably what I'm going to play. I'm just going to play a raging fucking shaman spellcaster.
Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the
I play as spellcaster in most games, like fantasy games I play.
time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam. While in bear form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with maul. Endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
It'll be really good for clear.
Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do. You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Cow. Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer.
Look at that, dude. That's
Finally,
sick.
build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
Hell yeah.
Now the bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we want it to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on 2 legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all 4s, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies. The wolf has a lot of cold attacks based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolf minion to your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have, so make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies. If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off. Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time. The wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect. Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the Druid, and I think it's a cool one, the Wyvern. The Wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities, but that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to. The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online. When using Rend, you can consume a power charge.
Yeah, if I use any of the forms, it's probably going to be this one, because it's going to supplement my already existing spells and all that stuff. At least that's what it seems to be portraying in this this gameplay. Wolf does look cool though. I wonder if you could do a icy bleed build. Dude, I want bleed to be better. Please, GGG. Buff bleeds. I love that. I love just the dot of it, the physical dot playstyle. It's so nice. But anyway,
to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your Wing Blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all. Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling Magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting. But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your wyvern form to enhance your damage. Making things wet also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage. Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it. Now there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these. Now of course, along with a new class comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the wyvern's Wing Blast, but you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles.
Well, that'll be an easy gateway on the Twisters too, because you'll be able to fan the flames and make them in the Fire Twisters immediately. Is that what that's looking like? It's pretty cool.
Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain.
Look at that.
And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse,
Travel skills.
or to turn
Water
tornadoes into a
Mancer.
real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along.
Wow.
And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost.
Yeah, this patch buffs Warrior like passively. It really just does. Especially if you're talking about like Smith Katava and cast on fire spell, fire attack. One of those. Like there's gonna be a ton of new fire spells with the druid, so W.
Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost, but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a whole pile more,
Right.
but we'll leave those for you to discover. Now with a new class comes new Ascendancy classes. The Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third being released later. The first class is the Shaman.
Shaman, that's me.
The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies. By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build. You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage. And with
So I'm wondering if you only have a couple, if there's going to be like a limit on the amount of skills you need socketed, or can I just have 2 skills socketed and it'll just keep alternating the damage boost? We'll have to see.
Converging paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both. And one of my favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree. By allocating the Unseen Path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs.
The way I'm seeing this is it's probably going to be like an actual like create a class kind of like ascendancy, much like Gemling is. Gemling's kind of like you can kind of put Gemling Legionnaire and you can make your own kind of thing on there too, because you know you just get so many like gem buffs, right?
With the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly
I'm sure Lazy Exile will make some rolling magma build. Yeah.
cool. Fury of the King.
Dude. We could be a fucking bullrog. Look at this shit. That's a crazy ass talisman, by the way. That is crazy. Look at this. It's fire.
Turns your bear form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fissures around you. This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your
Much like the boss of, you know, same model and stuff.
ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell.
But that's pretty much it for that. Definitely wanted to, you know, give my little takes, insights to all this stuff coming up. I mean, it'll be Friday in no time, boys. We'll be in there, we'll be playing. Will it have the longevity of 0.3? I don't know. I doubt it, because 0.3 was just so packed full of just good stuff. And most people only dropped off, like I said, like a few weeks ago, maybe like half a month ago, a month ago. So people were in that league for a while. They were in that league for a while. And, you know, myself included, I put in a lot of hours. It was definitely the league I put the most hours in. At least 500 hours into that league alone. It was so good. This one, We'll see, because it was supposed to be the end game patch for Path of Exile 2, where they're, you know, shaking up the end game and how, you know, those systems work. But I guess that's going to be in 0.5 now. So we'll have to wait. So this will just be a filler. I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to shadow drop some other kind of content later on in the patch. But that's just, you know, something I'm, you know, that's Copium. Copium, right? Pure Copium. But, you know, I hope everyone enjoyed watching all these little videos with me. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you're going to play the patch in the comments. Tell me what you think of everything. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.